There is a saying in English, when a man and woman get married, in the first year of the marriage, the husband speaks and the wife listens. In the second year, the wife speaks and the husband listens. In the third year, both of them speak and the neighbors listen. Though this saying is on a lighter note, this reflects the reality of marriages at present times. After the initial enthusiasm, excitement, the shine goes away from married life. Marriage, which is supposed to be a blissful relationship, ends in a bitter experience. A few days ago, I read a joke in a magazine. This is about a couple in United States. The wife is saying to her husband, Robert, your children and my children are quarreling with our children. This sounds funny, isn't it? But that's the reality about marriages today. Marital discord, conflict in marriages, divorce rates are all on the rise. In a broken marriage, most of the time, the worst affected ones are the kids. Kids, often sandwiched between fighting parents, become dull, indifferent, emotionless. They get confused, lose their way. They deeply hanker for love from their parents, but they don't get it. Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra talked about cohesiveness and balance between the five aspects of our life: individual, conjugal, family, social, and national. If you don't have ideal individuals, we cannot expect to have ideal husbands and wives. If you don't have ideal couples, we cannot expect to have ideal families. If the conjugal life is broken, the family life will go to dogs. If families become broken and barren, what would happen to the society? And what would happen to the nation? That's why the sanctity of the marriage institution is at the core of an ideal nation. Hence, marriage is so important. But why do we have such a sorry state of affairs? Why our marriages are breaking down? Let's try to understand the root cause of the problem. The truth is, we are not giving the due attention that marriages need to be given. For youngsters and their parents today, marriage has become a child's play. It has become an experiment. When we choose a partner in business, we take so much of care. We take so much of time to find out the right business partner. When we choose a friend, we spend so much of time to find the right friend. When we want to move to a new house, we carefully choose our neighborhood and neighbors. When we move into a hostel, we become so conscious and cautious about our roommate. But when it comes to marriage, which is a lifelong relationship, we become so reckless and careless while choosing our life partner. So, what is the solution to this problem? Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra believes that before marriage, due attention has to be given to the selection of the groom and the bride in a meticulous manner, looking for compatibility in marriage between prospective husband and wife. Factors that need to be taken into consideration include varna, family background, character and behavior, health, education, etc. We must look for cohesiveness and compatibility. While looking for compatibility between husband and wife, we must take these factors into consideration. To make the conjugal life blissful and beautiful, husband and wife must be faithful to each other. Both of them must be committed to the relationship, must be tolerant of each other's faults. They must unconditionally love each other. They must take the responsibility to support and stand up for each other. They must have the intent to do all of this if they want to make their married life enjoyable and blissful. Let me share with you an interesting story. Years ago, there was a couple living in a village. Both of them were devotees of Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. But unfortunately, their married life was broken. They had a bitter relationship. One day, they both decided enough is enough. They cannot continue in this relationship anymore. Both husband and wife decided to travel to Deoghar Satsang Ashram, meet their spiritual master, Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, and confess before him that they cannot continue in their married relationship, in their marriage. They cannot continue their marriage. They want to part ways. Planned day, both of them traveled to Deoghar, reached the Satsang Ashram. It was some time before noon, and it was time for Sri Sri Thakur to go and take bath. It is about the same time the couple arrived there where Sri Sri Thakur was sitting. But for whatever reasons, Sri Thakur's Brahminical thread in his knot had come up. And for a long time, he had been trying to untie the knot in his Brahminical thread. But the knot seemed to be very adamant. But he was struggling to untie the knot. He was trying and trying, but it was not getting untied. It was not opening. All his devotees who were waiting there were becoming a little concerned and worried because it was time for Thakur to get up and go to take bath. Since a long time had passed, one of the devotees walked up to Sri Sri Thakur and said, Thakur, you can discard this Brahminical thread and we will request Pandit Ji to put a new thread on you. Don't worry so much about the knot and the thread. We will just replace this. Thakur looked very upset. In a raised tone, he said, what are you saying? This Brahminical thread represents my culture, my lineage, the legacy of my forefathers. You are asking me to throw it away just because it has a knot? What are you saying? In a married life, when a husband and wife come together, start a new journey, a new life, so many challenges come in their life. They face so many trials and tribulations, difference of opinion and conflict. So many knots come up in their life. But does a husband or wife discard each other because of these challenges? If they don't part ways, they continue to try to build their relationship. How can I discard my Brahminical thread just because of one knot in it? This couple from the village were listening to Sri Sri Thakur. Stunned silence. An aha moment struck them. Sri Sri Thakur had delivered a powerful lesson, an insightful message to them. Should they discard each other because of their differences, arguments, conflicts, or should they try to untie the knots that have come between them? What a powerful message. A marriage is a lifelong bonding, a lifelong partnership. A marriage is not a lifelong compromise, is not a bitter battlefield. But to make a marriage stick, there has to be a cementing factor between the husband and the wife. The cementing factor is a common master they both love. They need a living ideal whom both of them love unconditionally, try to fulfill unconditionally. For this couple from the village, Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra was their cementing factor in their marriage. Both loved him. They both came to him with complaints against each other. But when they knew that their master will be extremely unhappy if they both part ways, they decided to make a conscious effort to rebuild their relationship, make their married life blissful and enjoyable. If there is a living ideal at the center of a marriage, if both husband and wife have the guru or the master at the center of their life, that can become an ideal-centric life. That can become an ideal-centric marriage. An ideal-centric marriage will pave the way for an ideal family. Ideal families will bring about an ideal society and ideal nation. Important building blocks of Panchamahajivan. We talked about conjugal life today. In the next episode, we'll talk about family life. Thank you very much.